Top 10 Best Comics. There was a time when comics were not considered something worthy of attention. Comics and those who made them were not given much attention in the literary community, although many classic literary themes, such as humanity and overcoming insurmountable obstacles, intersected in comics. Over the years, it has come to be understood that comics have their place in the literary community. They have become part of pop culture. It's hard to make a list of all the comics in the world today, but we've managed to put together a top 10 list of the best graphic novels. 10. Sin City. The events of this comic take place in a bleak, authoritarian-ruled city in the United States. This city's populated by strong and unruly people, street predators and their victims, cops and maniacs. It is a city in the darkness. But it is precisely because of this darkness that every glimmer of light in Sin City is so visible. Nothing goes unnoticed here. The city misses nothing and forgives nothing. The creators of the comic book were heavily inspired by crime TV series, movies and magazines. This explains why Sin City is more like a serialized crime drama on television, but in comic book format. 9. Scott Pilgrim. It's the story of a hapless and bumbling young man and his friends. The protagonist's task is to defeat his girlfriend's 7 exes to earn her love. Aside from the fact that Scott Pilgrim touches on universal themes rather than reasoning about the suffering of demigods or superheroes, it's also terribly coolly made. This comic's the ultimate quirky, slightly insane postmodern thing, spitting on the physical and other laws of reality, with lots of references to world pop culture, from games and movies to other comics and music. 8. Preacher. It has become one of the cult hits, with the story unfolding around a dark supernatural disaster that takes place in a small Texas town. Jesse Custer, the titular preacher, becomes possessed by a supernatural entity consisting of pure good and pure evil, and possibly becomes the most powerful being in the universe. The story has a small scale and eventually sprawls across the country, meeting bizarre characters. 7. Understanding Comics. This witty cultural comic strip that looks at what comics are made of and how they work. McCloud analyzes the role of color, frames, time, symbols, and more, and illustrates what and how comics can do. Understanding comics is probably suitable for people with an analytical mind. But once you can understand this comic, you'll begin to analyze simple images in complex terms and wonder why you didn't know how to do it before. 6. V for Vendetta. It tells us about the dystopian Britain of the 1980s and 1990s, where a totalitarian regime has proliferated. The plot is based on the story of a mysterious revolutionary calling himself V, who attempts to destroy this terrible neo-fascist police state by enlisting the support of the people. Given the tense premise, it touches on many heavy political themes, revealed in a carefully crafted story full of moral brimstone and extremes. 5. Batman, Year 1. The main problem of superhero comics is that you never know exactly where to start reading. And if you start reading, it turns out that it's not a bad idea to start in a giant backstory. In the 80s, Miller showed a noir-style reimagining of Batman, and Year 1 was one of the comics that brought this evolution to its apogee. He showed that gray, brown, and black could be used instead of the cheerful colors of the rainbow, and superheroes could be retired people with husky voices. To start reading comics, it's Year 1, which tells the story of how Bruce Wayne decided to wear a batsuit. That's perfect. 4. Watchmen. Watchmen is a graphic novel that changed the way the comic book industry was viewed and boldly challenged the genre that spawned it. This story actually graced Time magazine's list of the best novels of all time. Watchmen depicts an alternate history in which superheroes appeared in the 1940s and 1960s, and their presence changed history. In 1985, the country is approaching World War III with the Soviet Union. Many superheroes are already retired or working for the government. The story focuses on the personal development and moral struggles of the main characters. If you haven't read any graphic novels before now, start with Watchmen, specifically. 3. Naruto. It's one of the most famous manga around the world. Naruto consists of 72 volumes with 700 chapters. Manga is a black and white comic book that starts at the back and the pages read from right to left. Naruto is set in a fictional world of shinobi, and focuses on the main character Naruto, who is initially hopeless as a ninja, but gradually develops his skills while suffering many setbacks. Naruto and his friends fight through various ninja techniques using chakra energy. 2. One Piece. The manga is set around a guy who is inspired by one brave pirate and sets out with his crew to the sea in search of the treasure known as One Piece. It consists of quite a few important themes, such as close-knit teams, dreams, love, stories, and so on. Any fan can empathize and enjoy the story and personalities of the characters. 1. Mouse, a survivor's tale. It's the story of Art Spiegelman's parents' Holocaust experiences, recorded from his father's words. Mouse is the only Pulitzer Prize-winning comic book so far. The story unfolds in 2 time periods: Vladik's life before and during World War II and his life in Rego Park, a suburb of New York City. A distinctive feature of the graphic novel is that the Jews are represented as mice and the Germans as cats. This comic book is enough to shake your soul that you won't be able to think about anything else for a long time after you've read it.